Have you ever been woken up in the middle of the night with your leg tightening like a vice, the muscles pulling so hard you feel frozen in place? You try to move, but it feels like your calf is being twisted and squeezed at the same time. You rub it, stretch it, whisper to yourself, "Come on, let go," until finally it eases. And just when you think you've escaped, it happens again a few nights later, or sometimes even the very next night. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many people in their 60s and 70s know the frustration of cramps all too well. It's not just the sudden jolt of pain that's so disruptive. It's the way cramps sneak back again and again, as if your body is playing a cruel trick on you. They interrupt your rest, they shake your confidence in your body, and they leave you wondering, why do these cramps keep coming back no matter what I do? That's the question we're going to explore together today, because cramps aren't just random. They're not a punishment, and they're not always solved by the simple advice you've probably heard over and over: drink more water or eat more bananas. If only it were that easy, right? The truth is, muscle cramps can be a signal, a little flare your body is sending up to get your attention. And once you understand what it might be trying to say, you can begin to take steps that actually make a difference. Now let's start at the heart of it. What really is happening when a cramp strikes? Imagine your muscles like little ropes made of fibers. Normally, those fibers pull and release in a smooth rhythm, helping you walk, stand, and move. But sometimes they get stuck in the pull position. They contract and then refuse to relax, locking tight. That's when the pain shoots in and you're left feeling helpless. It's as though the muscle forgot how to let go, but the bigger mystery is not why it happens once, it's why it keeps happening. And to answer that, we need to look at some hidden reasons your body might be more prone to these repeating cramps, especially as you get older. One of the biggest factors is circulation. As we age, blood flow isn't always as strong as it once was. Think of your veins and arteries like highways. In your younger years, traffic moves smoothly, delivering oxygen and nutrients everywhere they need to go. But with time, those highways can get narrower, stiffer, or even a little clogged. When circulation slows down, your muscles don't get the fuel they need. And just like a car sputtering when it runs out of gas, your muscles sputter too, locking into cramps as if they're desperate for energy. That's one reason you might notice cramps show up more often at night, when your circulation naturally slows down as you rest. Now, maybe you're thinking, but I walk every day, I keep myself moving, and that's wonderful, it really does help circulation. But here's the surprising part. Too much walking or standing in one position can actually work against you. When you're on your feet for long stretches, your blood tends to pool in the lower parts of your legs, making it harder for your muscles to refresh. Then, when you finally lay down at night, that shift in circulation can trigger a cramp. It's not fair, is it? You try to do the right thing and your body still rebels. Another reason cramps keep coming back has to do with something even smaller than your muscles, your minerals. Think of magnesium, potassium, calcium, and sodium as little messengers that tell your muscles when to contract and when to relax. Without enough of them, the message gets garbled. It's like trying to listen to a radio station full of static. Your muscles get mixed signals and suddenly they clamp down and don't release. You've probably heard people say, "Eat a banana for cramps." That's because bananas have potassium, one of those key messengers. But here's the tricky part. Cramps aren't always just about potassium. Sometimes it's magnesium that's low, or calcium, or even the balance between all of them. You could eat a banana every day and still get cramps if your body is missing another piece of the puzzle. And the balance becomes even harder to maintain as we get older. Our bodies don't absorb nutrients from food as efficiently as they once did. Add in medications like blood pressure pills or diuretics, And suddenly those minerals are being flushed out faster than your body can keep up. So while you might think, I'm eating fine, I'm doing what I should, the cramps keep coming because your body isn't holding on to what it needs. Now let's pause here, because I want you to know something important. None of this means you're broken. It doesn't mean your body is failing you. It means your body is adapting to new stages of life, and it's giving you clues about what it needs. And that's good news, because clues can be solved. Here's another piece of the puzzle: your nerves. Every time your muscle contracts, it's your nerves sending the signal. But as we age, those nerves can become a little less reliable. They might misfire, sending a sudden jolt of contract now, even when you're lying still. That's one reason cramps can feel so unpredictable. You weren't running a marathon, you were just sleeping, and suddenly your calf decided it was time to seize up. Think of your nerves like the electrical wiring in an old house. The lights still work, but sometimes the wiring flickers, sending a spark when you least expect it. It doesn't mean the house is going to collapse. It just means it needs a little extra attention, maybe some new habits or routines to support it. All of these things, circulation, minerals, nerves, work together. And when even one of them falls out of balance, cramps can sneak in. But when more than one is off at the same time, that's when cramps become stubborn, refusing to go away no matter what you try. Let me give you a picture. Imagine a woman named Helen, 68 years old. She takes a walk every morning, eats well, and keeps up with her grandkids. But at night, the cramps hit. She drinks water, she stretches, she eats bananas, yet still they return. When she finally looks closer, she finds out her blood pressure medication is flushing out magnesium. She also loves her evening glass of wine, which dehydrates her more than she realized. Add those together, and her body is crying out for help. Once she adjusted her routine, adding a magnesium-rich snack in the evening, cutting back on alcohol before bed, and gently stretching her calves before she laid down, the cramps didn't vanish overnight, but they became less frequent, less intense, and easier to manage. That's the hidden truth about cramps. They're rarely solved by one magic fix. They usually need a combination of small changes that work together, like puzzle pieces fitting into place. And the first step is simply paying attention, listening to your body's clues instead of brushing them off. So, what can you actually do about it right now? The very first thing is to stop blaming yourself. Cramps are not your fault. They are not a sign that you're weak or lazy. They're your body's way of asking for care. And once you see them that way, they lose some of their power. You stop fearing them as mysterious attacks and start understanding them as signals you can respond to. From there, it's about making gentle shifts. If you've been told to just drink more water, try looking deeper. Are you losing minerals from your medications? Could adding foods rich in magnesium like almonds, spinach, or even a small square of dark chocolate make a difference? If your legs ache after long days of walking or standing, try elevating them in the evening, giving your circulation a chance to reset before bedtime. Small actions like these may sound simple, but over time they can change the story your body is telling. And I know it's easy to feel discouraged if you've tried before and the cramps still returned. But remember, persistence matters. Sometimes the change your body needs is the second or third thing you try, not the first. And the truth is, the fact that you're even looking for answers means you've already taken the first, most important step, refusing to settle for pain as your new normal, because your nights matter, your rest matters. You've spent your life giving your energy to others, to your work, to your family, to your responsibilities. Now you deserve nights of peaceful sleep without being jolted awake by cramps that steal your comfort. And while there's no single quick cure, there is hope in understanding the reasons behind them and in knowing that you can take back some control. So as we move forward, keep this picture in mind. Cramps are not random. They're not hopeless. They're a puzzle your body is offering you. And with a little curiosity, patience, and care, that puzzle can be solved piece by piece until your nights are calmer and your days are freer. If you've ever found yourself rubbing your leg in the dark, whispering a prayer for the pain to stop, you know that cramps have a way of stealing more than just your comfort. They steal your peace of mind, and one of the reasons they're so stubborn is because they're often tied to the little choices we make throughout the day, choices we don't even realize are affecting us at night. Let's talk about something most of us enjoy but don't always think about: hydration. Yes, you've probably been told 1,000 times, drink more water. But here's the catch. It's not just how much water you drink, it's when you drink it and what else you're drinking alongside it. Take coffee, for example. Many people love starting the morning with a hot cup. There's nothing wrong with that. But coffee is a diuretic. It gently nudges your body to lose water. And if you enjoy more than one cup, or if you add in tea or soda later in the day, you may be draining more fluids than you realize. By the time evening comes, your muscles are running low, quietly primed for a cramp to strike. And here's something you might not know. Drinking a big glass of water right before bed doesn't always solve the problem. In fact, it might make it worse. Why? Because instead of resting, your body spends the night running back and forth to the bathroom. The real secret is steady hydration throughout the day, not a last-minute flood at night. Think of it like tending a garden. If you wait until the soil is bone dry and then pour a bucket of water on it, the ground won't absorb it well. But if you water a little throughout the day, the roots stay nourished. Your muscles are the same way. Now let's move to another daily habit that hides in plain sight: footwear. It might sound simple, but the shoes you wear can play a surprisingly big role in cramps. When you wear shoes with poor support, your calves and arches strain more than you notice. They keep working even after you've taken the shoes off. By bedtime, those muscles are tight, and one wrong stretch under the covers can send them into spasm. Think back to the shoes you wore today. Were they comfortable, or were they simply convenient? Did they cradle your feet, or did they pinch just a little at the sides? You might not feel the consequences while you're up and moving, but your body remembers later. Even something as small as walking barefoot on hard floors for hours can set the stage for cramps. So, giving your feet better support, whether through cushioned slippers, supportive shoes, or gentle foot stretches, can be one of those quiet changes that pays off more than you expect. Of course, there's another piece many people overlook: medications. The very pills that keep your blood pressure steady or your heart healthy can also set you up for cramps. Diuretics, for instance, help lower blood pressure by flushing out excess fluid. But along with that fluid, they can sweep away potassium and magnesium. Statins, the cholesterol-lowering drugs so many people take, can sometimes affect muscle health too, making cramps more common. Even over-the-counter remedies like certain antacids can alter how your body absorbs minerals. Now, this doesn't mean you should ever stop your medication on your own. Never do that. What it does mean is that if cramps are plaguing you, it's worth bringing them up with your doctor or pharmacist. Sometimes a small adjustment, or simply knowing which minerals to replenish, can make all the difference. And then there's stress. It sounds almost too simple, but your emotional state can creep into your muscles more than you realize. Think about the last time you were anxious or upset. Did your shoulders feel tight? Did you clench your jaw without noticing? Stress doesn't just live in your head, it travels through your whole body. When it builds up, your muscles live in a constant state of tension. At night, when your body is supposed to let go, that tension can flip into cramps. For many of us, stress feels like a part of life we just have to accept. But your body has ways of telling you it's had enough, and cramps are one of those ways. Taking even 5 minutes a day to breathe deeply, stretch gently, or listen to calming music can help reset that muscle tension. It may sound small, but the ripple effect on your body can be powerful. Let's bring in another overlooked piece: posture. Picture yourself sitting in your favorite chair, maybe scrolling on your phone or watching TV. Hours can pass without realizing your legs are bent, your calves pressed against the edge of the cushion, or your feet dangling without support. That constant position slowly cuts into circulation, and later, as you shift in bed, your muscles revolt. One woman I know, Carol, 72 years old, used to get cramps every single night. She tried water, bananas, stretching, you name it. Finally, she noticed something simple. She spent 3 or 4 hours every evening in her recliner with her legs crossed. That pressure on her calves was building tension she didn't notice until bedtime. Once she started uncrossing her legs and putting a small stool under her feet, her cramps became less frequent. Sometimes the solution is not what we add, but what we stop doing. And we can't ignore one more key player: inactivity. Movement is medicine, but the type of movement matters. Long stretches of sitting or lying still make your muscles lazy. Then, when you suddenly ask them to work, standing up quickly or stretching your leg in bed, they panic and seize. On the flip side, overworking your muscles, like gardening for hours or walking farther than your body is used to, can also bring cramps. It's a delicate balance. Muscles need to be challenged but also cared for. So what can you do? Instead of long, punishing workouts, think gentle, regular movement. A few calf raises while brushing your teeth. Stretching your toes before slipping under the covers. Standing up and moving every 30 minutes when you're sitting for a long time. These little bursts of movement keep your muscles awake and flexible, less likely to surprise you later. All of these small habits, hydration, footwear, medications, stress, posture, movement, may not seem dramatic on their own, but together they can build the foundation for calmer nights. Cramps, after all, are rarely caused by just one thing. They're usually the result of layers of small habits, small imbalances, small oversights that pile up until your body finally says, enough. And here's the hopeful part: the same way those layers of habits can work against you, new habits can work for you. Change one layer, then another, and slowly the pattern begins to shift. Think of it like untangling a knot. At first, the knot feels impossible, too tight to budge. But as you gently loosen one loop, then another, the knot slowly gives way. That's what happens when you start noticing the little daily triggers behind your cramps. Each small adjustment is like loosening another loop until one day you realize the grip is not as strong as it used to be. And while it might take patience, every step you take is progress. Every night you go without a cramp is proof that your body can change, even now. That's the message I want you to hold on to. Your body is not set in stone. Even at 60, 70 or beyond, it is still responsive, still capable of healing, still able to surprise you with resilience. By now you can see how cramps aren't just a nighttime nuisance. They're a message. They're your body whispering, pay attention to me. But what happens if you've already tried changing your shoes, you've stretched, you've watched your water and your diet, and still those cramps keep coming back? That's when it's time to think about long-term strategies. Not just quick fixes, but real, lasting changes that can help calm your muscles and give you back the peace of mind you've been missing. One of the most powerful, yet often overlooked tools is routine. Our bodies love consistency, especially as we get older. Think of a baby. When they eat, nap, and sleep on a regular schedule, they thrive. Adults aren't so different. When you go to bed and wake up around the same time each day, your body's internal clock begins to settle. Muscles, nerves, even your circulation start to expect the rhythm. This steadiness can make nighttime cramps less likely to to sneak up on you because your body isn't bouncing back and forth between unpredictable states. But let's be real, life doesn't always allow for perfect schedules. Sometimes you stay up late with friends, sometimes you wake early for an appointment, sometimes you just can't sleep. That's okay. The goal isn't perfection. It's about giving your body more stability than chaos. If most of your nights follow a calming routine, your muscles will thank you. And speaking of calming routines, here's something many people overlook: winding down before bed. You may think stretching is only for athletes or yoga classes, but gentle stretching before sleep can be one of the best defenses against cramps. Imagine it as telling your muscles, the hard work is over, you can relax now. Even just 2 or 3 minutes of pointing and flexing your toes, rolling your ankles, or stretching your calves against the wall can send a signal that helps prevent those midnight lockups. But stretching isn't the only tool. Heat can be a gentle ally. A warm bath before bed, or even placing a warm compress on your calves, increases blood flow and relaxes tight muscles. Think of it as smoothing out the creases in a wrinkled sheet. Heat helps your muscles soften, lengthen, and prepare for rest. And if heat doesn't appeal to you, some people find that alternating with cold, like a cool washcloth or a brief cold foot soak, reduces inflammation and helps prevent the cycle of tension. It's about experimenting gently and noticing what your body responds to best. Another long-term piece of the puzzle is nutrition. Earlier, we talked about minerals like magnesium and potassium. But here's the bigger truth: a diet that supports steady muscle health is about variety, not just one magic food. Bananas might help some people, but for others, leafy greens, beans, nuts, or dairy make more of a difference. And protein plays its part too. Muscles need protein to repair and stay strong. Without it, they tire faster and cramp more often. So, whether it's a piece of salmon, a bowl of lentils, or a glass of milk, keeping protein in your daily meals can give your muscles the strength they need to cooperate with you. And don't forget about hydration in foods, not just drinks. Watermelon, cucumbers, oranges, and strawberries are packed with water and minerals. Adding them into your meals and snacks helps keep you balanced without feeling like you have to force down endless glasses of water. Now let's touch on something that feels less physical but is just as important: recovery. Our muscles, like the rest of our bodies, need time to rest and rebuild. If you've had a busy day, gardening, walking, or chasing after grandkids, giving yourself permission to rest isn't laziness, it's wisdom. Overworked muscles are more likely to seize. By taking short breaks, elevating your legs, or simply pausing to breathe, you give your body a chance to recover before the tension builds up into cramps. There's also the matter of circulation aids. Some people find relief using compression socks during the day. These gently squeeze your legs, keeping blood from pooling and reducing the risk of nighttime cramps. Others swear by propping their legs on a pillow while they sleep, helping blood flow more freely. These small, practical steps can shift the way your muscles behave overnight. But here's something I want you to remember. Cramps are not always just about lifestyle. Sometimes they're linked to deeper health conditions. Diabetes, thyroid issues, or even circulation problems can all make cramps more frequent. That's why ignoring them isn't a good idea. If cramps are stubborn, if they wake you every night, or if they're accompanied by swelling, numbness, or weakness, it's time to bring it up with your doctor, not to scare yourself, but to give your body the care it deserves. Because here's the truth: your body has carried you through decades of life. It's worked tirelessly every single day, whether you noticed it or not. Cramps are its way of raising a hand and saying, something needs your attention. Listening doesn't mean being fearful, it means being wise. And wisdom is one of the greatest gifts of age. And let me share a story with you. There was a gentleman named Robert, 74 years old, who struggled with nightly cramps for years. He thought it was just something he had to live with. He tried water, bananas, even sleeping in different positions. But nothing seemed to help. Finally, after his daughter insisted, he talked to his doctor. A simple blood test revealed his magnesium was low because of the medication he was taking. His doctor recommended a supplement, adjusted his routine, and within weeks his nights were calmer. What seemed like an unsolvable problem turned out to be a signal waiting to be understood. Your body has its own way of speaking. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it shouts. Cramps are one of those shouts. And you don't have to ignore them. You don't have to accept them as your new normal. You can choose to listen, to learn, and to respond with care. And that's where the cycle begins to break. When you stop seeing cramps as random punishments and start seeing them as guides, you move from frustration to empowerment. Each choice you make, whether it's stretching, adjusting your diet, talking to your doctor, or even just paying attention, becomes part of the solution. Now picture this. You slip into bed, your legs feel light, your breathing slows, and you know you've done what you can to prepare your body for rest. You close your eyes, not with fear of being jolted awake, but with confidence that tonight will be different. That's the kind of peace you deserve, and it's the kind of peace that small, steady choices can bring back into your life. And remember, progress doesn't always happen overnight. It builds. Just as cramps don't appear out of nowhere, relief doesn't always arrive instantly. But each night, that's a little easier. Each morning you wake without pain is a victory worth celebrating. Your body is still capable of change, no matter your age. And that is something to hold on to with hope. Sometimes the hardest part about dealing with cramps isn't the pain itself, it's the uncertainty. You might go to bed wondering, will tonight be one of those nights? Will I be jolted awake at 2 a.m, clutching my leg? That kind of anticipation creates its own tension. And tension, as you now know, is one of the very things that feeds the cycle. So let's focus on taking that weight off your shoulders by looking at the little everyday choices that can make a surprisingly big difference. Not the dramatic, impossible to keep changes, but gentle adjustments that slip into your life without turning it upside down. Let's start with something as simple as how you sleep. Have you ever noticed how your feet naturally point downward when you're lying on your back? That small angle shortens your calf muscles, putting them in a position where they're more likely to spasm. One simple fix is to place a pillow under your feet so they stay slightly flexed instead of pointing down. It may feel unusual at first, but many people find it drastically reduces the chance of cramps sneaking in while they're resting. And what about sleeping positions? Some people sleep on their stomachs with their toes pressed into the mattress. That position keeps calves tight for hours. If you notice you often wake up cramped after sleeping that way, try switching to your side or back with your legs more relaxed. These aren't huge changes, but they can reshape the way your muscles behave during the night. Now let's move from the bedroom to the kitchen. Salt often gets a bad reputation, especially for those of us watching blood pressure. But here's the thing, your body does need some sodium to keep nerves and muscles functioning. Cutting it out completely can actually backfire. The key isn't to pile on the salt shaker, but to maintain balance. Foods with natural electrolytes, like tomatoes, oranges, and avocados, can help keep that balance steady. Think of it like tuning an instrument. Too much or too little of any mineral, and the music of your muscles goes out of key. Then there's alcohol. I know for many, that evening, glass of wine is a little joy, a ritual that signals the day is winding down. But alcohol is a sneaky dehydrator. It drains fluids and interferes with how your body holds onto minerals. If cramps are visiting you regularly, cutting back, especially in the evenings, can make a world of difference. You don't have to give it up completely, but even shifting that glass of wine earlier in the day, or swapping it a few nights a week for a calming herbal tea can start tipping the scales back in your favor. Speaking of tea, let's not forget caffeine. A cup of coffee in the morning can be a comfort, even a necessity for some, but too much caffeine throughout the day can keep your muscles on edge, stripping fluids and minerals at the same time. If you're used to multiple cups, try gradually swapping one for decaf or a non-caffeinated tea. Your muscles, and maybe your sleep, will thank you. Now let's touch on something less talked about: underlying inflammation. Inflammation can tighten muscles and irritate nerves, creating the perfect storm for cramps. The foods you eat either fan the flames or help calm them. Processed foods, fried foods, and excess sugar all keep inflammation burning. But foods rich in omega-3s like salmon or walnuts and antioxidants like berries and leafy greens cool it down. Imagine your muscles as a fireplace. Inflammation throws in extra logs, stoking the fire higher. Anti-inflammatory foods, on the other hand, sprinkle water on the flames, keeping them from raging out of control. And while we're on the topic of food, timing matters too. Going to bed on an empty stomach can sometimes trigger cramps, especially if your blood sugar dips during the night. A light, balanced snack before bed, like a small piece of whole grain toast with almond butter or yogurt with a few berries, can steady your blood sugar and keep your muscles calm. You don't need a big meal, just enough to give your body something to work with as you sleep. Now, let's turn to daily movement again, but in a gentler way. You've already heard how overworking or underworking muscles can bring cramps, but there's another aspect: variety. Doing the same motion over and over, even something as innocent as sitting in the same chair or walking the same route daily, can make specific muscles tighten while others weaken. By mixing things up, taking a new walking path, adding in some light swimming, or simply stretching in a different way, you encourage balance in your muscles. Balanced muscles are calmer muscles. And here's a simple exercise you can even do while sitting. Toe raises. Place your feet flat, lift your toes while keeping your heels grounded, hold for a few seconds, then release. Doing this throughout the day helps strengthen the muscles in your shins, which balance the pull on your calves. That balance is what prevents those sudden nighttime cramps. It's small, it's easy, but it works. But beyond the physical, let's not forget the emotional. Worry feeds cramps, and cramps feed worry. It's a cycle. Breaking it means creating space for calm. That might be a bedtime routine of reading something light, listening to gentle music, or even practicing a few minutes of gratitude. It may sound soft compared to stretching and nutrition, but don't underestimate it. Muscles don't live separately from your mind. When you calm your thoughts, your body follows. There's also an old trick many people swear by: massage. Gently massaging your legs before bed signals your muscles to relax. You don't need fancy oils or long sessions. Just a few minutes of rubbing your calves and feet, working upward toward the knees, can stimulate circulation and ease hidden tension. If your hands tire easily, there are inexpensive massage rollers or even a simple tennis ball you can roll under your foot. These little rituals aren't just about the body, they're about giving yourself care, reminding yourself that your comfort matters. And that's really at the heart of it. For so much of life, you've likely been focused on caring for others, children, family, work. But cramps are a reminder that your body too needs tending, that self-care isn't indulgent, it's necessary. When you take time for yourself, you're not being selfish, you're refueling so you can keep showing up for the things and people you love. Now, one more thought: sunlight. Yes, something as simple as stepping outside matters more than you think. Sunlight helps your body produce vitamin D, which supports muscles and bones. Without enough vitamin D, cramps can become more common. Even 10 to 15 minutes outside each day, whether it's sipping your morning tea on the porch or taking a slow walk, can give your body the boost it needs. And the fresh air, the change of scenery, lifts your mood as well. It's a 2-for-1 gift to yourself. Put all of these pieces together: better sleep positions, balanced nutrition, mindful routines, small daily exercises, moments of calm, massage and sunlight, and you start to see a pattern. Cramps aren't just about one muscle misbehaving, they're about the whole orchestra of your body needing a bit of tuning. And you have the power to guide that process, not by doing everything perfectly, not by making drastic changes all at once, but by taking one gentle step at a time. And with each step, you shift the balance. You move from feeling powerless, bracing yourself for the next cramp, to feeling in control, knowing you're supporting your body in every way you can. That sense of empowerment is just as important as the physical relief, because when you believe your efforts matter, you keep going, and when you keep going, change comes. So, as you move through your days, remember this: your body is always speaking. Cramps may be one of its louder messages, but they don't have to define your nights or dictate your days. With patience, attention, and care, you can quiet that message little by little until what remains is peace, rest, and the energy to enjoy your life fully. By now, you've probably realized that cramps are not just about muscles tightening in the night. They're about your body asking for balance, for care, for rhythm. And while we've explored so many angles already, circulation, minerals, stress, habits, there's still one more layer worth unfolding. That's the role of listening to your own unique body story. Because here's the truth: no two people experience cramps for exactly the same reasons. For one person, it may be circulation. For another, a side effect of medication. For someone else, it's posture or stress. And for many, it's a combination of all of the above. The real power comes when you begin to observe your own patterns, to connect the dots between what you do and when the cramps come. Think of it like being a detective in your own life. Keep a little notebook by your bed. When a cramp wakes you, jot down the time, what you ate that day, how active you were, how stressed you felt, even how much water you drank. Over time, patterns emerge. Maybe you'll notice that cramps appear more on days you skip vegetables, or after evenings when you cross your legs for hours, or on nights you had wine before bed. Those clues become your map. They turn a frustrating mystery into something you can actually manage. And there's a deeper gift in this practice. It teaches you to pay attention to yourself again. So often we get used to ignoring our own needs, brushing aside discomfort as just part of getting older. But age doesn't mean silence. Age means wisdom. And wisdom means paying attention, not just to the world, but to yourself. Another important piece is patience. We live in a world of quick fixes and instant results, but bodies don't work that way. Healing, balance, relief, it all takes time. Just like a garden doesn't bloom the moment you plant seeds, your body needs days, sometimes weeks, of new habits before the results start to show. The cramps may not disappear overnight, but each step you take is watering those seeds, preparing the ground for better days. And let's not forget the power of gentle strengthening. Stronger muscles are calmer muscles. Even light resistance exercises, a few minutes of lifting light weights, doing chair squats, or using resistance bands can make a big difference over time. You don't have to join a gym or push yourself beyond comfort. Just small, steady movements to remind your muscles that they're alive, capable, and resilient. Balance isn't just physical either, it's emotional. Many people underestimate how much mindset shapes the way we experience pain. When you expect a cramp, when you brace yourself in fear, your muscles tense in anticipation. But when you approach it with calm, when you remind yourself, I'm taking steps to care for my body and I am safe, your nervous system softens. That softening can be the difference between a cramp that lingers for minutes and one that releases more quickly. I know it's not always easy. There are nights when the pain feels unfair, when you wonder why your body is betraying you, but I want you to know it's not betrayal, it's communication. Your body is still on your side. Even the cramps, as unpleasant as they are a signal that your body is still trying, still asking for what it needs. And that is a sign of life, of strength. Think of all the years your legs have carried you, the jobs they've done, the miles they've walked, the places they've taken you, the people you've stood beside. Every cramp is happening in a body that has already achieved so much. That perspective matters. Because when you view yourself with compassion, not frustration, you create space for healing to happen. And here's something else many people overlook: community. You're not alone in this struggle. Millions of older adults experience cramps, yet so many suffer in silence, thinking it's just their burden to bear. Sharing your story with friends, family, or even a support group can lighten that load. You might even learn tips from others who've found relief in ways you haven't tried yet. Sometimes just knowing you're not alone changes the whole experience. So what does all of this come down to? It comes down to a choice. You may not be able to snap your fingers and make cramps disappear forever, but you can choose to respond differently. You can choose to pay attention, to experiment, to be patient, to care for yourself with the same devotion you've shown to others all your life. That choice gives you back power. It reminds you that aging doesn't mean helplessness. It means adapting, learning, and continuing to thrive. Imagine this. You lie down at night, your body relaxed from a few minutes of gentle stretching, your mind calm from a ritual of gratitude, your legs supported just right. You close your eyes with trust, not dread. And even if a cramp comes, you know what to do. You massage gently, breathe deeply, release the tension, and return to rest. That confidence is worth everything. So if cramps have been haunting your nights, I want you to remember, you are not powerless, you are not broken. You are in the middle of a conversation with your body, and you are learning the language. Each step you take brings more understanding, more relief, and more peace. And perhaps most importantly, don't lose hope. I've seen people in their 70s, even their 80s, transform their nights simply by making these small changes. Relief is possible. Comfort is possible. Rest is possible. You deserve to wake up refreshed, to feel steady on your feet, to move through your days with energy instead of exhaustion. You've carried so many responsibilities in your life. It's time for your body to carry you with ease again. So tonight, when you slip under the covers, I want you to hold on to one thought. My body is still capable of healing. I am still capable of change. And with that belief, take one small step tomorrow, whether it's stretching before bed, drinking water throughout the day, or writing down your patterns. Every small action builds toward calmer nights and brighter mornings. Because cramps may be stubborn, but you are stronger. They may be persistent, but so is your resilience. And together with patience, awareness, and care, you can turn the tide. Here's to nights of rest, mornings of energy, and the deep knowing that your best years are not behind you, they're still unfolding, one peaceful night at a time. There's a moment that often comes after you've wrestled with something for a long time, whether it's sleepless nights, stubborn pain, or the endless cycle of cramps that feels like standing at a crossroads. On one path is resignation. This is just how life is now. On the other is possibility. Maybe things can get better. The choice isn't always easy. After all, cramps are exhausting. They can leave you feeling drained, discouraged, even a little hopeless at times. But as we've walked together through this journey, I hope you've seen that there's more waiting for you than endless nights of pain. There's a whole set of gentle tools, small habits, and daily shifts that can open a door back toward comfort, rest, and confidence. Think back over everything we've explored together. We started with the mystery of why cramps keep returning, no matter how many bananas you eat or glasses of water you drink. We uncovered the deeper roots, circulation, minerals, nerves, and the way they interact like threads in a fabric. We saw how daily choices, hydration, posture, stress, shoes, even your favorite evening drink, can quietly weave tension into your nights. And then we explored how to loosen those threads little by little with stretches, warmth, better balance, nourishing food, sunlight, rest, and patience. It's not about doing everything at once. It's about building a life where your muscles, your nerves, your circulation, and your mind are all gently supported. And that's something anyone can do, no matter your age, no matter your history. Now, I want you to picture yourself a few weeks from now. You've started noticing your patterns, writing down what you eat, how active you are when the cramps come. You made a couple of small changes, maybe a stretch before bed, maybe a snack to steady your blood sugar, maybe switching your sleeping position. And slowly you notice something. The cramps are less frequent, or they don't last as long, or they don't scare you the way they used to. That's progress. That's proof that your body responds even now. And progress is worth celebrating. It's easy to dismiss small victories when what you want is total relief. But if you celebrate the little wins, they give you the courage to keep going until the bigger wins come. And let's be honest, cramps may not vanish completely for everyone. There will be nights when one sneaks in unexpectedly. But here's the difference. Instead of feeling like a victim, you'll feel prepared. You'll know how to breathe, how to massage, how to stretch, how to calm yourself, so the cramp passes quicker and with less fear. That shift in confidence changes everything, because life after 60 isn't about chasing perfection. It's about choosing peace, choosing strength, choosing ways to enjoy the time you've been given. Cramps may be a part of your story right now, but they don't have to control the whole narrative. You get to decide how the story unfolds from here. I want you to think of your body as a garden. Sometimes weeds spring up, sometimes a plant wilts, sometimes the soil grows dry. That doesn't mean the garden is ruined. It means it needs tending, a little water here, a little pruning there, a little sunshine each day, and slowly life flourishes again. Your body works the same way. With care and attention, even the parts that ache can grow stronger, calmer, and more resilient. And here's another truth worth holding on to. You've already proven your resilience. Think about all the challenges you've faced in your life. Raising a family, working hard, navigating struggles, making sacrifices. Compared to everything you've overcome, cramps are just one more challenge, and one you are fully capable of meeting. You've built strength across decades, and that strength is still with you today. So let this be your reminder. It is never too late to care for yourself. It is never too late to learn, to adapt, to grow. Whether you're 60, 70, 80, or beyond, your body can still surprise you with its ability to change. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. And as you move forward, remember, this isn't a solo journey. Share what you've learned. If you discover that elevating your legs helps, tell a friend. If you find that magnesium-rich foods make a difference, share it with your community. The more we talk about these things, the less anyone has to suffer in silence. Your story could be the very thing that gives someone else the courage to seek relief. I know sometimes health advice can feel overwhelming, even discouraging, but my goal here has never been to burden you with lists or demands. It's been to remind you that you have options, you have tools, you have hope. And most importantly, you have the right to rest, to comfort, and to peace in your own body. So the next time you feel that twinge in your calf, don't greet it with dread. Greet it with curiosity. Ask yourself, what is my body trying to tell me tonight? Did I drink enough water today? Did I move too much or too little? Am I holding on to tension I need to release? That kind of awareness turns frustration into understanding. And understanding is the first step to freedom. Now, as we close this conversation, I want to leave you with one final thought. Life after 60 isn't about fighting your body, it's about befriending it. When you treat your body as an ally, not an enemy, everything shifts. Cramps stop being punishments and start being guideposts. Pain stops being an obstacle and becomes a teacher, and you stop feeling powerless and start feeling alive again. Take this wisdom with you tonight, take it into tomorrow, and take it into the days ahead, knowing that each choice you make, no matter how small, can bring you closer to nights of rest and days of joy. You deserve that. You've earned that. And with patience, care, and resilience, you can have that. So here's to you, to stronger legs, calmer nights, and the knowledge that no matter how many times cramps have tried to steal your peace, they do not get to win. You do.